Good day. You're with the Phoenix Warrior, my spiritual warriors, and I'm so thankful and grateful that you're in the Phoenix Academy with some of the courses that we have in there. One of the topics I wanted to talk about today is signs, messages, symbols, when we're communicating or we've lost somebody and we really wish that they were around or to be able to talk to them. So I want to give you a few different examples of how the universe, the divine, and how spirit will work. One of the ways that spirit and my soul family, now my soul family is ones that have lived on earth with me and we've had experiences together and they've passed away. So for me, one of the ways that they will communicate is through songs. I've always been drawn to songs. I've always loved music. I loved dancing, expressing in ways of music. And I find that a lot of songs and that will have certain words or lyrics that can kind of move you and shift your energy, shift your emotion. So obviously one of the ways that spirit would communicate with me is through songs. So at this one particular moment, I got a phone call from the nursing home where my mom was at, and she was struggling and slowly declining with her MS, and she wasn't feeling too good. So they called me, but there was just this different kind of feel, this different kind of energy. Like I could feel something shifting. I could feel on some form, something was going to happen or something wasn't right. And I couldn't kind of put my finger on it. And I kind of thought like it's normal for us to dismiss those kind of experiences and feelings. So I was doing things around the house. I got a phone call from the home, and the one caregiver was concerned about my mom, and they put her on some oxygen, and they needed my opinion. And right then and there, I knew something wasn't right. It was, later on in the evening time. So it was like after visiting hours. And I turned around and I said, I'll come and talk with her. And the caregiver said, that would be good because, for you to calm her down a little bit. She seems really anxious and really nervous. So as I hopped in the car and I was driving, I was on my way to the home, and it's like only maybe under 10-minute drive, especially going the back way. And all of a sudden I could hear my brother go, turn on the radio. And most of the times I turn on the radio, but there's a few moments where, you just forget or you're kind of in your head and that. And I turned on the radio because I was told to. And usually then when I hear them say, turn on the radio or change the channel, they have a message for me. So I turned on the radio and it was Michael Buble, whatever his last name is. And it was coming home, and it was at this certain part. And then I just got, I get the goosebumps. I just got this overwhelming feeling that my mom was done, that she was coming to the end of her life and we were transitioning. I didn't know if it would take minutes, hours, days, weeks. I just knew that this was like a warning for me to be prepared that my mom's life now is going to be way shorter. And I remember listening to that song, having a little bit of tears and going, okay, I need to get ready. I need to be prepared. I need to prepare my grandmother because she's going to lose the only child that she gave birth to. So I drove down there, talked with my mom and I could just tell there was things that were different. And when my mom wants to communicate with me in a certain way, she wants me to kind of get back aligned on my pathway, or she wants to give me a certain message with a certain emotion or feeling with it, that song out of the blue will just come on the radio. I have a playlist that I don't usually have on shuffle, so it plays in order. And a lot of times when they want to communicate with me, they shift the songs. With my brother, he loves to, if he wants to poke and bug me and be very playful, he always plays Guns N' Roses, songs like that. Which now just makes me crack up and laugh. And we had this whole story when he was younger, and he's like the rocker headbanger kind of person. And I'd bug him and say, turn that crap off. All they do is scream. So a lot of times he would play those kind of things. If he wants me to know that he's there and he's watching me, and when I have the feeling or the emotion, I really miss you, I miss our little banters, those kind of things, he'll play the song Until I See You Again. So he'll shift and he'll play different songs for to communicate with me. My grandmother has a couple of her songs too. And with my grandfather, though, most of the times when he wants me to know that he is around, because he's a numbers person, very strong math type of person. So it's so funny that, it kind of just popped in my head. It's like, no wonder he always shows with numbers. He loved music and stuff like that. There might be the odd song that he'll play that might make me think of him, but most of the time with him, he's communicating with numbers and a feeling, or very subtly, I might, hear something from him. The other way that he communicates with me is birds. His biggest thing is with the crows. He really communicates that way. For an example, we were driving, a group of us were carpooling, driving to Edmonton, and one of the younger guys, in his fancy, sports kind of BMW, just flying down the highway, Mach 100, 200 and something, like he was going really, really fast. And all of a sudden, this crow, when we were driving, you could see a couple crows on the fence, and they're like squawking. And I made a comment and said, they're probably going to have speed traps, and technically maybe you should slow down a bit, because he was going at that speed that I didn't think that he would be comfortable enough that if something happened, we wouldn't be safe. We could be in a serious car wreck. Now, my grandfather loved speed. So certain speed he's good with. After a certain speed, he usually isn't, especially if he doesn't feel confident in the driver. And this, all of a sudden, the crows just started, one or two at first just came in front of the car and swooped, where he'd have to kind of like slow down a little bit. And they kept kind of coming in. And then they did it like in threes. And my grandfather always did like stuff in certain numbers and stuff. And this crows just kept coming in front of us a few times. And then finally, he slowed right down, because he was a little bit nervous that these crows are going to fly in front of him and maybe cause an accident or something, and slowed down to a certain speed. And then sure enough, there was a speed trap up there. And he was very, very lucky. He probably would have had his license pulled because he was going fast enough. So in situations like that, I'll notice little the signs and that. Now, some people would take that as it's just a bird, it's just flying in front of your vehicle. The thing of it is, though, is you'll think of that person. And if you're really paying attention to your energy, you'll feel something shift in you. You'll feel something slightly different. And then as you're thinking about them and you feel something, and then you remember a certain memory of them, then that bird will come in front, or you'll see the bird and their face will pop in your mind. You'll think of them, or you'll think of a certain memory. Signs and symbols and messages are usually attached to something else that if you're really paying attention, they align together. And that if you're like walking and all of a sudden you see a dime there, or you see a dime on a counter in a certain way that normally there's no way it could have been put there unless somebody placed it. But you'll think of that person. You'll feel an energy. You'll have a different emotion. Those are the signs and symbols and messages that we get. Those are just some of the ways that you'll see that. Now, this is a quick little snapshot, give you a couple of little examples, and I'm looking forward to giving you more tips